It's Monday morning. The alarm goes off at 6:15. You silence it, stare at the ceiling for a moment, and then, almost on autopilot, you get up. You shower, you dress, you grab coffee you barely taste, and you sit in traffic for 45 minutes just to reach a desk you'll sit at for the next 9 hours. You do this every single day. And at the end of the month, a number hits your bank account. You feel a brief rush, almost like relief, and then within days, it's gone. Rent, car payment, groceries, subscriptions you forgot you had, a credit card bill from last month's emergency, and just like that, you're back to counting days until the next paycheck. You're not lazy, you're not careless, you work hard, you show up, you do everything right. So why does it feel like you're running on a treadmill that never stops? Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody tells you when you land your first job. The salary system was not designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you just comfortable enough to keep showing up. Hi, my name is Dave, and today we're going to talk about exactly how that works, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Here is the first salary trap, which I call the illusion of stability. When Dave got his first real job at 23, he thought he'd made it. He was earning $48,000 a year. To him, that was more money than he had ever seen. He signed a lease on a nice apartment, financed a used car, and bought furniture on a payment plan. He felt like an adult. He felt stable. But here's what Dave didn't realize. The moment he saw that salary, his brain immediately started doing math. Not savings math, spending math. How much apartment can I afford? What car payment can I handle? What lifestyle matches this income? Psychologists call this lifestyle inflation. The moment your income rises, your expenses rise to meet it, sometimes faster. Dave didn't save $1 in that first year, not because he couldn't, but because every system around him, banks, landlords, car dealerships, retailers, was perfectly designed to absorb every cent he made. 5 years later, Dave was earning $62,000, and somehow he was more stressed about money than he was at 23. That's not a coincidence. That's the system working exactly as intended. Let's talk about how a salary actually works, how the salary structure is built against you, which is the second trap, because most people have never broken it down. You agree to trade your time, 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, for a fixed number. The company benefits directly from your productivity. If you help close a deal worth $500,000, you still go home with your same paycheck. The upside is always theirs. The risk is always yours. And then comes tax. Before you even touch your money, a portion is gone. Federal tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. Depending on where you live and what you earn, you might lose anywhere from 20 to 35% of your paycheck before it ever reaches your hands. Then come the fixed expenses, rent or mortgage. That alone, in most cities, consumes 30 to 50% of what's left. Add utilities, insurance, groceries, transportation, and most people have spent 70 to 80% of their take-home pay before they've bought a single thing they actually enjoy. And then, and this is the part that really tightens the trap, is debt. The average American carries over $90,000 in total debt: student loans, car loans, credit cards, medical bills. Debt is not just a financial burden, it's a leash. It keeps you tied to the paycheck. It makes you afraid to quit a job you hate. It makes you say yes to a boss you can't stand. Debt is how the system ensures you keep showing up, month after month, year after year. You're not broke because you're bad with money. You're broke because the structure was engineered to keep you dependent. Here's something most salary earners never calculate: the cost of time, the thing nobody counts, which I call the third trap. Take your annual salary, now divide it not by 40 hours a week, but by the real number. Add the commute, add the time you spend mentally at work while you're physically at home. Add the hour you spend picking out clothes, the 30 minutes you spend decompressing after a hard day, the weekends you lose to catching up on sleep. For a lot of people, a $50,000 salary stops looking like $24 an hour. It starts looking like 12, maybe 10. And yet, when you think about it, you are selling something that can never be replaced. You can always make more money. You cannot make more time. There was a woman named Diane. She worked as a mid-level manager at a logistics company for 11 years. Good salary, good benefits. She told herself she was building security. But one day, sitting at her daughter's school recital, on her phone answering emails, she realized she had missed the entire first song. Her daughter had looked for her in the crowd. Diane hadn't noticed. She said later, "I wasn't building security, I was trading my life in installments." The salary trap doesn't just steal your money, it steals your hours, and then it steals years. And by the time most people look up, they're 50 years old, wondering where it all went. Think about the last time you got a raise. Maybe you worked hard for it, maybe you negotiated, and when it came, there was a moment of excitement. But here's what actually happened. Your employer looked at what it would cost to replace you and decided paying you slightly more was cheaper. A raise is not a reward, it's a retention strategy. And companies are extraordinarily good at keeping you comfortable enough to stay, but never comfortable enough to leave. They offer perks, gym memberships, free lunches, casual Fridays. These things cost the company very little, but they cost you an enormous thing. The illusion that this is enough, that you're being taken care of, that leaving would be crazy. Meanwhile, the people at the top of the organization, the founders, the investors, the shareholders, they are not on a salary. They earn from ownership, from assets, from systems that make money whether they show up or not. And here's the bitterest truth of all. The system teaches you to admire those people from a distance. It never teaches you to think like them. Now let's talk about the way out. None of this means you quit your job tomorrow. That's not the point. The point is to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner, even while you're employed. Here's what that looks like in real life. It starts with the gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend. Most people see that gap as leftover money. Wealthy people see that gap as fuel. Every dollar that doesn't leave your account is a dollar that can be put to work, in an index fund, in a side business, in a skill that opens a new income stream. It means building income that doesn't require your hours. Maybe that's a rental property. Maybe that's content online. Maybe it's a small service business you run on evenings and weekends. Maybe it's dividends from investments you make consistently over time. The vehicle matters less than the principle. You need money that works while you sleep. It means treating your financial education as seriously as your job training. The system didn't teach you this in school, deliberately. But the information exists. Books, communities, mentors. People who have broken out of the trap are not hiding the map. You just have to be willing to look. And it means making peace with discomfort. The salary is comfortable. Building something beyond it is not at first. It requires evenings instead of Netflix. It requires saying no to things you can't afford. It requires believing that delayed sacrifice is worth a future where you are not dependent on a single company's decision to keep you employed. Dave, from earlier, he started a small e-commerce store on the side. Took him 2 years of early mornings and failed experiments. But at 31, his side income matched his salary. At 33, he walked into his boss's office, not in desperation, but in complete peace, and handed in his resignation. He said it felt like taking off a pair of shoes that were 2 sizes too small. That is what freedom feels like. The salary trap is real. The system is real, but so is the way out. You were told that a good job was the finish line. It was never the finish line. It was the starting point. And somewhere along the way, it became a cage you decorated so nicely you forgot you could leave. You have more options than you've been shown. You have more capacity than your employer pays for, and you have more time than you think if you start using it differently, starting now. The question is not whether the system is designed to hold you back. It is. The question is, what are you going to do about it? If this video shifted something in your thinking, even slightly, do one thing right now. Not tomorrow, right now.
Write down the number, how much comes in every month, how much goes out, and find the gap, because that gap, however small it is today, is the foundation of everything. Then subscribe, because every week on this channel, we go deeper into exactly how ordinary people are building income, breaking free from the paycheck cycle, and designing lives they don't need a vacation from. The information is free. The decision is yours. Make it.